Hi, is now an okay time? I know what I said about date recaps. I am pulling back from them. But I had a date, my fifth date, with the bear on Friday night. And, a couple things happened that are very timely that I want to talk about. Especially since my last video was literally about romantic sleepovers. This was my first romantic sleepover with him, and I want to tell you about it. So, I'm still figuring all this out, but this is gonna be a long story. So grab a snack, grab a little cup of tea, get your water, get your wine, whatever. I'm not here to judge. The context you need from this story is that I didn't start dating till my 30s. I would still consider myself, even after having been in one relationship, fairly new to dating as a whole, which means I have no riz. I don't have moves. And I'm currently seeing someone I met off of an online dating app, and his code name is the Bear. So I invited the Bear over for a sleepover on Friday night, and I made it clear when I messaged him this invitation that this would be a non-zesty sleepover, or a non-smexual sleepover. I had let him know ahead of time that I wanted to take things slow in inviting him over. I wanted him to see my house. I wanted him to meet my little grumpy dog. But that physical touch as a late bloomer is something that means a lot more to me than maybe someone with more dating experience than I have. So for you to be invited into my space, for us to be snuggling, for us to be kissing, that just is going to mean a lot more to me. And I wanted us to have a few dates out and about before he came into my personal space. So his response to that at the time was, "Don't worry about it. I'll be here when you're ready." So that's what we're working with going into this sleepover, okay? When I had asked him over, he also was like, "That sounds like really fun. What if we cooked a meal together and played games or watch a movie or something? It could be a really fun night in." I'm sorry, you want to help me cook dinner? Absolutely, yes. So I sent him 3 meal options just so I have the ingredients on hand. And I was like, we can do this, or this. We ended up doing garlic butter steak bites with sweet potato air fryer fries and drizzled with honey. I harvested that honey. If you didn't know this about me, I used to keep bees. And roasted green beans. So I am literally bouncing up until the point he's coming. I am so excited that he's going to be here. I'm so excited that we're going to get to snuggle, because at this point, most of our dates have been out. Our last date was at my sister's wedding, which was a fantastic story. Go watch that recap if you want it. And we had snuggled a little bit, but we were outside. We weren't sitting next to each other, and it was an event, right? This was going to be one-on-one. So by the time he gets here, okay, I am literally bouncing at the door. I am so excited that he's here. And I usher him inside, and he's got his little backpack on. And I'm like, "Okay, I want to show you everything. Let me show you backyard. Let me show you my garden. This is where I like to read. This is my bedroom. This is my living room." And I'm showing him all the things. And the Bear is very tall, okay? My house is little, but I don't know, I somehow expected it to feel maybe for him to not be comfortable in it height-wise, or for maybe to look smaller than it was. But I'm here to tell you right now, he fit in real well. He looked right at home. I was wearing a black sweatsuit. I had an Elvis crew neck on and black sweatpants, so I looked very cozy and cute. And after I gave him the tour, he loved my space. He was like, "Well, let me change into something more comfortable." I'm like, "Yep," and then let's start cooking, because I'm starving. He had just come right from work, so he was in jeans and a t-shirt. He goes and changes. Do you want to know what this man changes into? A gray sweatsuit. A very nice one, I might add. First time at our house, and this man busts out gray sweatpants. To be clear, if I am comfortable enough to invite you to my house, it means I feel safe around you. I trust you to a degree. I'm not necessarily worried about being seduced, but the gray I didn't even get to tease him about this yet. The gray sweatpants on a 5th date. I need to tease him about that in the future. So I was like, okay. But it was a long sleeve sweatsuit, right? So we start cooking, we're laughing. I give him the steak because he's actually very good at cooking meat, and I'm actually, as he was telling me about how to prepare it. I was like, yeah, I'm real glad I didn't cook that steak because I don't cook red meat very often. I wouldn't have known what to do. But we're laughing, we're joking. I never really keep alcohol in my house, so like I had like one bottle of sweet wine that I drank, and I told him to bring beer. So we've got our drinks, we cheers, and it's just so relaxed, so easy. It's what freaks me out a little bit about getting to know him is it just feels so easy. It feels like a puzzle piece fitting together. We met in person this Monday. It'll have been 4 weeks ago. So it doesn't make sense to me how simple this feels. The moment he walks through my door, I might have been anxious the whole day, but and it's like my bestie is over. So I had told him when he comes in, don't even try to pet my little asshole dog, Diggory. He's not friendly to strangers. He's barely friendly to people he knows. And he's like, it's okay, I'm good with animals. Like, he'll warm up to me. I'm like, okay, we'll see. But just like literally, just let him smell you. If he eventually comes up for pets, you'll know. You'll know the moment. But if he growls at you, just don't take it personally. Just ignore him. So like Diggory approaches, gives him a side eye. At the end of dinner, there's a few like pieces of steak tips left. Not enough for like leftovers. So Diggory comes up and ever so delicately, when he is offered a piece of steak tip from the bear, he takes it with like the tippy tip of his teeth so that he doesn't have to touch the bear's hand. And the bear was like, at least he's gentle. I was like, yeah, he'll be gentle. He wants the steak. He does not want to touch you at all though. So our plan for the evening was dinner, to play a card game or two, and then to watch a movie. So he helps me clean up from dinner. He dives right into like washing the pots while I load the dishwasher, and that made cleanup so easy, and the teamwork was, it's fine. I'm really chill about this. So we go and sit down at the table. I take out my deck of cards and I'm like, okay, so I don't actually know that many card games, but there's one I used to play with my sisters when we were younger. And that's the one I want to show you because it's easy to learn and it's very competitive. It's called James Bond. I don't know why it's called that. I don't know if this is a legitimate game or if it's one we made up. I have no idea where it came from. But basically you have 6 piles of 4 cards each. And there's 4 cards facing up in the middle. And the goal is to get 6 of a kind. So 6 queens, 6 aces, as quickly as you can, but you can only pick up 1 pile at a time. And when you get to your 6th pile, you shout out James Bond, and whoever gets to shout out James Bond first wins. So I tell the bear I'm not going to take it easy on him, and he's not worried because he's like, I pick up things very quickly and I'm very good at stuff. And I was like, sir, no humble brag detected. That's a straight bag, which has been a running joke on our date so far. He is nowhere close to being arrogant, not even close, but there is just like a calm confidence that's smoking hot. And like when you're good at something, why be demure about it? But I'm delighted to tell you that we got insanely into this game. I think we did 4 or 5 rounds and I won every single one. He tried though. He really tried to beat me. He was like, I got to teach this to my niece. And I was like, yeah, maybe that'll help you get better. Maybe not. I'm not mad about this. He smoked me in axe throwing, which was our second date. So, I mean, it's fine. So we're drinking, we're laughing, we're having a good time. I tell him after we've had like a few rounds of this game, okay, so I've chosen a cinematic masterpiece for us to watch this evening. And it is Shrek. The reason being, the outfit I wore to my sister's wedding last weekend, I wore a green dress with brown boots, and I kept singing the Shrek, the Robin Hood song from Shrek, which I'll show you at the end of this video. Not the song, what I was wearing. And I've had it stuck in my head and I want to watch it. He was like, I'm game. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. I took absolutely no photos of myself at this wedding, okay? But this was me with my sister, and she's wearing my mother's wedding dress. Like, can you even stand how beautiful she looks? We also took Polaroid pictures throughout the night. This is her with her new hubby. Like, can you even stand how cute they are together? So, we have dinner. We've played card games, right? We're getting ready to watch the iconic cinematic masterpiece that is Shrek. Before this happened, though, even though we both have joked about how we run hot, It's warm in my house after we've done all that cooking. And the bear was like, man, I didn't bring another t-shirt besides what I, wore to work. And I don't want to wear that again, but like, I'm too hot. And I was like, well, I mean, ironically, we were actually around the same weight, but I'm 5'9", he's 6'5", he's considerably taller than me. I have like one oversized shirt that I thought would work. I was like, actually, I think I have like one giant t-shirt in my house. Like, let me know if this fits. But the shirt in question has a T-Rex with flowers behind the T-Rex's ear. And it says, just a girl who loves dinosaurs. And I was like, when I held it up to show him, I was like, this is all he got. And he was like, it's perfect. So he comes downstairs wearing it. Actually, I mean, it's long enough. It fits. He takes his hair down because he has long hair, right? He's like, I need to send a picture of me to my sister. Can you take a picture of me? Which of course happened. So we walk over to the couch. He's got his Just a Girl Who Loves Dinosaur t-shirt on. I had been, again, wearing that full sweatsuit, but I am also now hot between the wine, the temperature of my house, and the company. I'm hot. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to run upstairs and put on some pajamas real quick. I come down in a little tank top. I had like a nice oversized cutesy sweater and it's falling off one shoulder. And black booty shorts. I would love to tell you that was innocent, but it was strategic. Who is she? Anyway, so he sits on the couch and I'm like, pick your throne. Tell me when you're comfortable. He's like, all right, I'm comfortable. And I was like, okay, good, because you're my pillow for the rest of the night. I'm going to be snugged up right against you. He was like, sounds good. So I go in and I start off like, no, I don't even start off just laying on his chest. I go for like maybe I had like a comfy blanket like on his stomach. And then I lay out longwise on my couch into sectional. So he's on the chase lounge. And then his hand just resting right on my waist, on my hip. Oh, it was so perfect. I can't even tell you how delightfully happy. And I felt like I was just radiating joy. So we're watching Shrek, right? He hadn't seen it in a while. I'd seen it a few years ago. It's one of my siblings' favorites. We love as adults, we love the Shrek movies. We love the Puss in Boot movies. So we are laughing. We are like humming and singing along. Some of the lines like he remembered or I would remember before they even happened. So we're laughing and it was just so chill and it was just so fun. I feel like now we have to watch the rest of the Shrek movies. I did pop us a bowl of popcorn, which he graciously put in his lap for me so that I could continue to eat. And your girl's mind was nowhere good. Nowhere good. But I was very carefully taking the popcorn. Very carefully. So by the time the movie ends, I am pleasantly buzzed, but mostly just thrilled. And I turn off the TV for a second. I have candles lit in my house. It's really like cozy and delicious. And I look over at him and I'm like, there's literally no chill way for me to say this, but I would really love to make out with you right now. This is one of the two things I wanted to talk about in particular in this video, because a lot of people ask me, Laura, if you're nervous, if you don't have the moves, I have no moves, not a suave bone in my body. How do you initiate zesty times? How do you initiate a kiss? Well, I tell you, I'm sure there's better ways, okay, than what I'm about to tell you, but I just ask. I just tell them exactly what I want. And he laughed and he was like, that can be chill. And I was like, I don't feel like it's chill, but that's what I want. Are you down with that? He was like, yes, I am down with that. So I turn YouTube back on. One of my favorite things to do is have some ambiance, just some soft lighting in the background, a little bit of mood music, like whatever it is. Do you need to do this? No, but I like to do it. And then one of the hardest things about starting to kiss someone, now we've had kisses, but we haven't had dedicated time yet to just snuggle and to luxuriate in a kiss, to linger in a moment, to figure out what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what we like, what we don't like, how to wind up, how to wind down. This is going into action right now. So he's sitting kind of sprawled on the chase lounge part of the sectional, and I kind of turn to face him. And I start to fucking tremor. Pretty bad. Like literally, and when that happens to me, context, even though I'm off birth control and I've been off birth control for a year, last time was the first time I've ever been on birth control. I had a really terrible side effect, which was tremors. They were as bad. They looked like seizures last year. Now they just look like my head will twitch, my shoulders will twitch. It's kind of hard to, it's like that. But like I'm sitting there, I'm excited, I'm ready, and then, and he's looking at me and he kind of just gently takes my arms and he's like, "Are you okay? Look, we don't have to do this." I was like, no, I want to do this. I just need my brain to settle down. And he was like, "Well, is there anything I can do to be helpful?" And I was like, "Yes, you can hug me. You can hold me. You can tell me it'll be okay. And don't worry." Just hearing that, even though I know it. But the only thing that'll make it worse is if you leave in the middle of it. So if you could just not do that, that would be great. And he was like, "I'm not going anywhere." So like we start to kiss a little bit and I'm still shaking. So at one point it gets a little bit worse. Like you can't really kiss when your like whole body is shaking. So I'm like draped across his chest at this point. I just wrap my arms around his shoulders and I tuck my forehead into the side of his neck. And he just holds me. And he's like, "Do you want to try some breathing exercises?" And I was like, "I could try. It's hard to like hold a breath when you're like, your chest is shaking." He was like, "Just try." And he starts doing a count. Inhale, hold for 4, exhale. And like, it's hard to do, but eventually I just start to follow, like, I just follow his chest rising and falling. He's like, "See, you got it." And I'm like, "I'm just following you. I'm just listening to you breathe and following you." And he's like, "That's okay. It's working, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's working." Which is actually, this is 2 of 3 things I wanted to tell you is when I am anxious, I visibly show it. I have these tremoring episodes. So there is no faking it till I make it. Okay? Because you will know if I'm scared. There's no way to hide it. And it is one of the reasons that I'm a huge proponent of just communicating when you are nervous. If you're scared, because someone can help you through it. Can I help myself through it? Yes. But in a moment like that, someone being kind and compassionate and not pressuring you, not making fun of you, just helping you through a hard moment like that can help you get there to a moment of calm, like so much faster. So much faster. So I get, like, people will say, don't tell people about your lack of experience because other people can manipulate you. And yes, they can. People lie, people are awful. But I also believe in giving people the opportunity, if they have shown themselves worthy of it, to show you their true colors. And their true colors might really surprise you in the most wonderful ways. So that makeout got steamier. And we're both figuring it out. He hasn't dated in a while. I don't have that much experience. All of this I've learned very recently. And I'm just like, okay, I can tell you a few things that'll help keep me in the moment. We are in a making out situation, okay? He is reclined, I am facing him, kind of draped across his chest, and we are experimenting with the kissing, okay? What feels good, what doesn't feel good. I tell him, if I can just kind of get lost in this moment, I don't even know where I go when I tremor, but I go somewhere. My brain goes somewhere. Something in my body, it's not even conscious, starts to panic a little bit. So if there are things that I can do, you can do to help keep me here, that'd be great. The examples I gave was, I love neck kisses. I love neck kisses. I love if you sink your hands into my hair. I love if you rub my back. Who is she? And as we're starting to kiss, I'm realizing that he is kissing more with tongue, but I've never really done that before. So I don't know how. And I'm game to learn, but I just don't know how. So like initially I actually asked him, I was like, can you actually just to start close your mouth just a little bit more, because I don't know how to tongue kiss. That's still something new to me. He was like, yeah, of course. It was no big deal. And then what do you know? He's like, we're just figuring it out together, right? I was like, yep, sounds like we both got our training wheels on and we're going to take them off. So we start with like a little bit more traditional, like closed mouth kissing, but then we start to open that door up to experimentation. And let me tell you what, that was a lot of fun. But that's one of the things I wanted to tell you about, because there was no embarrassment on either of our side. It was like we benched our egos or our pride. And this is one of the reasons why I try to be so direct, because I don't have the moves. I don't know the moves. I never learned the moves. And I am an enthusiastic learner. I love practicing. But I don't know how to fake it. But like him matching me and then us experimenting. Who is she? It was delicious. And I was like, I'm sorry, I probably sound so needy. And he was like, nope, I take direction well. And I am like giving him the wish list. I'm like, okay, can I straddle you? He's like, go for it. So I'm doing that. And I'm, again, the moment I might be really game for an idea, but in the moment I sit on top of his lap, I am, of course, worried about crushing him. And I'm like, are you sure? The whole time, are you sure that this is fine? He's like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And in the moments that I allowed myself to just get lost in it, was fine. Did I tremor through some of that kissing? Yes. But the more patient and encouraging he was, the less strong the tremors got, until they just vanished. At one point I was like, can you come on top of me? Yes, please. And once in a while my brain would send up little panic flares, and I would tremor, and we would just pause and cuddle or press our foreheads together. I would just hold on to him and bury myself in his chest or his neck until it calmed down. And he was so willing and gracious to go my speed. And the more you know you can trust someone willing to go your speed, it makes you feel safe. It calms you down. And it's so fucking hot. It's so hot. Gentlemen, this is directed specifically at you. The more safe you make someone feel, the more comfortable you make someone feel, it allows them to, I don't want to use the word bloom, but that's what it feels like to me. Like I explained to him, like I have an inner sex goddess, but she's locked inside of me right now. And like, I know she can find her way out. I just slowly need the key. Feeling safe in a moment like that, that's the key. It like unlocks your confidence, your willingness to explore, all of those things. So at this point, it's maybe like midnight, which is way past my bedtime. So I'm like, hey, how about we go upstairs? We can catch the end of the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight, which I have mixed feelings about, but that's a conversation for another day. So we go upstairs, and I did warn him, once we get into bed, the tremors are a little bit different. They might be a little bit more strong. And it won't always be like this. The more comfortable I feel, they'll wear off. And he was like, literally, don't worry about it. It's okay. And I was like, I know, it's a little disheartening for me, because I thought they were gone. The healing period I had this year post breaking up from my first relationship, they vanished. I wasn't tremoring anymore. Clearly dating and being in a relationship is a trigger for me, though. And it all's come flooding back. So we get into bed. I have literally probably 5 or 6 different pillows, because I have an obsession with getting the best night's sleep of my life. So I'm constantly buying new pillows, new lotions, new whatever it is to help me sleep better. We identify his pillow. We watch the end of the fight, and then I tell him to find his position, and I'll find mine. So once he's comfy, and this is the third thing I wanted to tell you about. It doesn't matter how safe and how much I trust him. My body is still in panic mode. So I am tremoring the whole way down. Like once I sit beside him and he's inviting me in, I tremor the whole way down to putting my head on his chest. And without me needing to say a word, he just wraps his arm around me, starts to rub my back. And I had put my other hand on his chest, and sometimes my hands get locked up like this, like I can't move them. And he just put his hand on top of mine. And he told me it was okay. And I was like, I'm sorry. And he was like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And I feel like I need to tell people about this because, again, no chill. I'm literally shaking. That's not sexy. But this is now the second individual I have dated who was so supportive through a moment like that. Who made me feel safe, who did not make me feel like I needed to rush. Which leads me to believe that there must be other people out there. Call it luck, call it, I don't know, divine intervention, call it miraculous. I just can't believe I am the only one in the world who has dated individuals who can be that supportive. I don't believe that. So that's why I'm always rooting for all of us to find who we need, there are people out there who can fill that need. I tremored on and off for hours. And if I had been, I have anxiety meds that help. I should have taken them the moment we got into bed. I forgot. I didn't think about it until like hours in. So like we would start to fall asleep and then I would tremor. Sometimes it happens when I'm not even like in between when I'm awake and asleep, when I'm asleep. And even when I wasn't tremoring, anytime I shifted positions, he would pull me back to him or snuggle up to me. The big spoon energy is unmatched. But I felt totally safe. I felt totally respected. There was never a moment where I felt like I needed to do something I didn't want to. There was never a moment where I didn't feel like he was there in my corner and he wanted to do whatever he could to make me feel good. He had to work the next day, but we had like a lazy morning. And I was just, I slept on, like basically cuddled up into his side or on him for the entire night. So like I knew he had to leave by like lunchtime. I had set our alarm, like an alarm to go off around 9:30 so we'd have time to like hang out and have breakfast. But neither one of us are moving. And I was like, listen, I know you gotta go, but I'm really happy right now. And he was like, it's okay. So am I. We've got time. And the sun was shining. He was so warm. And he was just rubbing my back. But at one point, he started to like play with my hair a little bit, like running his hands through my hair. And that, who is she? I was like, listen, I know we got to get up, but I want to make out with you really badly right now. He was like, okay. Y'all, my head was nowhere good. And at one point I was like, Bear, I am not capable of making the decision to get out of bed right now. I only want to make bad decisions right this moment. And he was like, what do you mean by bad decisions? I was like, you know exactly what I mean by bad decision. I was like, We either need to go up, and I know at this point he had to leave in like 50 minutes for work, but I didn't care. I was like, we either make a bad decision right now or we need to go eat breakfast. And he kind of was like, he like sighed. He was like, oh, I am hungry. I was like, you're probably right. I'm hungry too. I'm full of crap. Just so you're aware. I'm the one who's full of crap. However, this is what I need. This is the third thing I really, really wanted to impress upon you. I gave a boundary, right? I wanted this to be a non-sexual experience sleepover. He fully respected that boundary. And would have probably... It could have gone another way if I had initiated or asked or given us more time, but it doesn't matter. The point is, he was fully on board with what I had requested, and that this was just about us getting to know each other, spending more time together. And that made me feel so safe. Like, to sleep beside someone and to feel so safe. A completely underrated form of intimacy, even if nothing zesty happens. For you to know that you can be here in this moment and not have to worry is unparalleled, and it is not too much to ask for. And I barely slept the whole night, but it wasn't because I was anxious. It was because I felt fully alive, fully charged. Him sleepily curling up around me for like big spoon style, him holding my hand or rubbing my back, even like as he's drifting up. The weight of that man's hand anywhere on me. And this is what I mean about sleepovers and physical touch. Those touches mean I feel like they have supercharged meaning when you've been touch starved. Who is she? So we get up and we make breakfast. He's not a tea drinker, but I don't have a drop of coffee in my house. So I'm like, can I make you tea? I like take tea very seriously. Like, he was like, yeah, I'm game. I'll drink it even if I think it's gross. And I was like, can't you just come back after work? And he was like, that sounds like a fantastic idea, but sadly, no. He was going to a football game today. So he did need to go back home and get his stuff and all that stuff. And I totally understood, but we're getting to the danger zone right now for me. And it's when I can feel like a string forming between us. And it's like that string is pulled taut when I start to miss someone. And I say that's the danger zone because that's like the beginning. That's the beginning of Alora's emotional free fall. And I'm going down so hard. Regardless of what happens next, I am going down so hard. And it's exciting. I didn't know I could feel that way again. I was so heartbroken this year. And to know that it's so encouraging, and it's also so scary. And that's why I say even now, like, the hope is brutal. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. And no, the bear would never disappear on me. We promised. But you don't know. And it's so confusing to feel like it's so easy with someone. Like, you're two puzzle pieces snapping into place. Like, literally, I told him, I was like, it hasn't even been 4 weeks since we met in person, and we talked for like almost 3 weeks before then, but still, that's hardly any time at all. Like, for me to feel this comfortable and close to you. He was like, Alora, time is relative. The bear has moves, okay? The bear has moves. Laura doesn't have moves, but the bear has moves. So I feel like I just need people to know you can say exactly what you want, what you feel safe with. You're not too much. It's absolutely okay to communicate when you're sad, when you're anxious, when you're happy. It's okay to set boundaries that'll make you feel more comfortable. And if someone respects those boundaries, babes, that's like the neon greenest of flags. And yes, people suck and people lie, and not everyone in the world is a good person, but there are still good people. And this is why, like, I just will never stop believing that there's someone out there for all of us. I have no chill again. I was asking him about, what his family traditions were for the holidays, because I would love him to come to some of my family's things. And he was like, oh, we'll figure it out. And I was like, listen, you don't have to, like, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, obviously, those are big holidays for us, for everybody. But we do a lot for them. My family does. And literally when I was texting him, it was a big stomach rumble. I was like, I want to tell you about these holidays, and you can pick one or five or forever, all of them. And that's not a chill thing to say for someone you've barely been dating for a few weeks. And I am pulling back on date recaps in the near future, only because it's easy to talk about all of the wonderful things. This is the honeymoon period, right? Everything is rosy and happy, but dating isn't always like that. And that struggle with authenticity was something I struggled with immensely in my last relationship. Was I only want to tell you guys about the good stuff. That's like the fun stuff, right? But like, relationships are hard. Just because it's easy right now doesn't mean it'll always be easy, and that doesn't mean it's a bad relationship, but it does mean that that's a realistic part of dating. So I don't want to feel like I'm only documenting only the good, and I don't know what that looks like on social media, and some of it isn't meant to be documented. That's only for me and for who I'm dating, in this case, aka the bear. God. But if you know what you want, just ask for it. It is totally okay if someone goes your speed. And God help me, I'm free falling right now. Oh, it's too late to tell me to be careful, by the way. For those of you who want to tell me to be careful, it's too late. If that doesn't work out, my feelings will be hurt, but what if it does? Till next time.